All right. And then just make sure you're getting the... Or your user screen.
I was just going to record my screen.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. All right. So, Justin, just so you know, like I said before, I'm the local benefits coordinator licensed by the state. I work for a company called North American Senior Benefits. They've been around since 1957. They're a Christian-based organization, fantastic people. But part of their job is making sure you're receiving certain benefits for free. They're based out in Athens, Georgia, but they work nationwide. I'm the manager here for the state of Virginia, right?
Okay.
So we've got that going right there. Now, I'm assuming you know what this is right here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Better Business Bureau. Perfect. Only reason I ever show this is because we have an A+ rating with them, so it means if I tell you something's free, I mean it's free. Okay. It also means that basically no one's ever had anything bad to say about us. We're really good with that stuff. And they actually audit us every year.
Okay.
So we're always held accountable for stuff like that. So just in case you ever need to look us up, you'll see the same exact thing. Now, real quick, this is the first half of what I've got for you right here. It looks complicated. I promise it's not. There's just a couple questions I want to ask you to see if I can help you on the financial side, okay?
Okay.
Now, the first question I have for you is, do you currently pay for any prescriptions out of pocket right now?
Yes, I'm paying $100 for my blood pressure medication.
$100. Oh my gosh, that's every month?
Every month.
Okay, we're going to stop the bleeding there, okay? I'm going to come back to that part in just a second. What about your dental care? Anything you're paying out of pocket for that?
I have been paying out of pocket for cleanings and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I do need to get some teeth pulled. So.
How much have you had to pay so far?
I pay about $50 per cleaning.
Oof. Okay. Yeah. Then we're gonna come back to that part as well. Okay. What about vision care? You paying anything for frames, lenses, anything like that?
Oh my gosh. It's crazy expensive how much the frames and lenses cost.
Yeah.
Just the lenses alone are hundreds of dollars.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. I need to stop the bleeding there a bit. I'm gonna get back to that too. Okay. What about the hearing? Can you hear me? Okay. How's that working right now?
Right now I can hear you, but my left side is kind of low. So
okay. So we need to address that as well. Okay. Well, Justin, it's a really good thing I ran into you today, right? Because there's a couple things I need to make sure you're receiving, right? Now, the big things to know about this, I'm going to leave a free resource here with you today. The big things to know is that it's completely free to you. There's no fees to join, no monthly charges, nothing like that, okay? So I'm going to make sure you have that before I go today. The big things to know about this card right here is a discount card I'm giving to you, right? You've seen the GoodRx card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's similar to that, except in my opinion, it actually works a lot better. It works with not just prescriptions, but other things too. So there's a couple things I want to make sure you have access to here, okay? The first thing is going to be on prescriptions. It's going to help you save up to 65% of some of your prescriptions right there. Where do you go to for your pharmacy right now?
Right down the street at Walmart.
Walmart, perfect. Okay, they're definitely a network. All the big ones, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Kroger, all those big ones, they're all a network. It works at over 59,000 locations. It works with both brand names and generic. So I want to make sure you don't have to be limited on options, right?
Right.
So I'm going to make sure you have that before I go. It doesn't work with things like insulin, inhalers, and certain opioids, but most other things are typically covered. So as long as you have that, you're good to go, okay?
Okay.
Now, this also covers things like dental. It's going to help you save up to 45% on your dental care.
Wow.
I'm not going to tell you it works everywhere, but it works at quite a few locations. You're going to have a pamphlet that has a website you can go to look up all the locations, okay? This covers a ton of stuff like cleanings, fillings, crowns, braces, oral surgery, a few other things as well. There's no limits on how often you can use this, okay? So please, please, please do not pay full price anymore for your dental care, okay? Okay. Now, on the vision care, it's going to help you save up to 50% on your vision, right? So frames, lenses, even things like eye exams, LASIK surgery, stuff like that, it's going to help out with all that, okay? Where do you go to for your vision stuff typically?
Lens crafters.
Oh, man, you're making my job really easy, man. So this works at places like Target Optical, Lens Crafters, Eye Masters, Walmart Vision. It works at over 11,000 national and regional vision centers. I do not want you paying full price for those anymore, okay? Okay. Please, please, please do not pay that much. This is going to help you save some right there, okay?
That sounds good.
And then on the hearing care, I know you mentioned that you might be having some issues with your hearing. If you do need hearing aids, I don't want you paying full price for those. If your Medicare provider doesn't cover it, it's going to help you save up to 15% on your hearing aids. It works with over 80 Bell-tone hearing aid models. So please, by all means, do not pay full price. I know 15% doesn't sound like a lot, But when you look at the overall price, 15% doesn't sound so bad.
Anything helps nowadays.
Exactly. Any questions on this? I just want to make sure we're pretty good here, right? We're all good so far?
Yeah.
Okay,
seems
perfect.
pretty straightforward.
Okay. I'll make sure you have that pamphlet before I go, okay? Now, that's the first half what I've got. Now, the second half was in regards to the state-regulated benefits within your life insurance and final expense programs. I just need to explain to you how that works, right?
Okay.
So most insurance companies, most people assume that when you have life insurance that you're supposed to be receiving, money for when you pass away, to take care of the burial, or, maybe leave some money behind for the family or something similar to that, right?
Right.
And that is very true. The problem is that there's additional benefits you're supposed to be receiving for free while you're still living. So my job's just to make sure you're receiving those. As long as you are, we're good to go, right? But my job's to review that. So insurance companies call those benefits riders, living benefits, provisions, stuff like that. But they're essentially known as your state-regulated benefits, right?
Okay.
So there's a few things you're supposed to have included for free within your policy. The first thing is what we call day one coverage. It means there's no weird waiting periods, no weird terms and conditions. It means the price never goes up, benefit never goes down, okay?
Okay.
Now, if you're 50 or older in the state of Virginia, you're supposed to be receiving a discount on your policy, so you should never be paying the full highest price on that policy. You want to make sure you're getting the best deal possible. On top of that, you want to make sure you have what's called a state-regulated plan. State-regulated means it's held to a higher standard. It means it's held accountable. I'm not sure if you knew this, but legally, in the United States, an insurance company can wait up to 6 months before they pay out a claim.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous when you think about it, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So when you're on a state-regulated plan, it means that typically that policy is going to be paying out within the same week or two. The longest your family would ever wait on a state-regulated plan is about 30 to 45 business days, and that's really if only there was some sort of major issue, right? Like something with a death certificate, something similar to that. But long story short, it means they're not going to be dragging their feet. They're going to do what they say they were going to do.
Right.
That's something you're entitled to in the state of Virginia. You're also supposed to have what's called your accelerated death benefit included for free. So let's say you were to get cancer or some sort of terminal condition, and the doctor gave you a certain amount of time to live. Your policy is supposed to pay you a check while you're still living to pay for whatever you need. So whether it's your rent or mortgage, your groceries, flying a family member in from out of town. I tell some people if you need a mental health day, Las Vegas before you pass away, anything like that. Long story short, your insurance company is supposed to pay you a check to pay for whatever you need while you're still alive. And that way, they're not having to wait for you to pass away in order to pay out, right? So that's supposed to be included for free in your policy. You're also supposed to have what's called your nursing home and hospice care benefit included in your policy for free. So let's say down the road you couldn't take care of yourself. You lost 2 functions of living, whether it was cooking for yourself, cleaning for yourself, bathing yourself, whatever it may be. Within 30 to 45 days of that diagnosis, your policy is supposed to give you a check to either help pay for nursing home care, or if you're like everyone I talk to and you don't want to go to nursing home, you want to stay at home and receive hospice care, it's supposed to help pay for that. Now, Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, they're all supposed to cover all that stuff. They don't always cover everything. They usually cover all the essentials. But if you're trying to get a certain level of care, that's where this comes in. It helps cover whatever difference you need in order to get the level of care you're looking for. So that's supposed to be included for free in your life insurance policy. And then on top of that, your policy is supposed to build what's called the cash value. Now, Justin, I'm assuming you know what a cash value is, right?
Yeah, I think if you could explain it to me, though.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. And then this part you go down right here. So I'm assuming then you know the difference between like term life, whole life, universal life. You've heard of all of those?
Yeah, I know about them.
Okay. So as you probably already know, term life, it's called term because it terminates at some point. It's temporary coverage, right? Term life is a type of coverage where it only lasts a certain period of time. So unfortunately, what happens with these is that they're usually very inexpensive. They're very enticing, and they can be really good in some rare cases, but for the most part, they don't make any sense because if you outlive the policy, you and your family never see a penny of that money come back, right? So term life, it's really unfortunate because if you outlive that policy, that's kind of it. The insurance company keeps all the money.
Right.
All the money you put into that policy doesn't build any sort of value. Now, whole life, as you probably already know, is permanent coverage. As long as you're paying for it, it can't be changed or modified or taken away from you, right?
Right.
With whole life, it's designed to where a portion of that money that you put into the policy builds value over time. With whole life, if you have a state regulated plan, all those benefits we were just talking about are included in that policy, but not all whole life is. There's also modified and graded policies that can change in price later on, or they have weird waiting periods, right?
Okay.
So my job is to make sure that's taken care of right there properly.
Right.
Now, have you ever heard of universal whole life by any chance or no?
I have.
Okay. Yeah, so universal whole life it's a type of whole life. It's it's kind of like a weird hybrid between term and whole, the best way to put it. Starts off less expensive, builds up cash value as time progresses. These are really good if you get them in your 20s or 30s. Anything after that doesn't make any sense. The reason being is with the universal whole life, they perform against a stock or an index or a dividend. What happens is at some point the price is going to go up beyond what you're paying. Your bank account won't look any different, but what they do is that to make up the difference in that policy, they use the cash value to supplement the difference. So what happens with these is that they oftentimes will actually lapse before you pass away, because what happens is that once the cash value runs out, you either have to pay 3 to 4 times what you were paying before, or you have to let the policy lapse and you're screwed, right?
Right.
So just as a reminder, right, we're not an insurance company. We're licensed by the state to work with all the carriers, but we choose to only work with the top-rated state-regulated providers. So I'm sure you'll recognize companies like Mutual of Omaha, Americo, Gerber. These are all like very familiar companies, right? I personally have a Foresters and a Liberty Bankers. My father's on Americo, my mother's on Great Western, and the list kind of goes on. These are just a few examples of some carriers we work with. There's far more that we do. But long story short, my job is just to make sure that everything was set up right. And since I don't work for an insurance company, I can let you know that everything is looking good, or if you need something else, we can figure that out, right?
Right.
So there's typically 3 different types of situations we run into. The first one's going to be someone who is stuck in a term plan that's either going up in price or going away. The second is someone who doesn't have any coverage, or they don't have enough coverage. And the third is someone who does have insurance, but they're paying too much for it. Now, Justin, hypothetically, which situation do you think you'd fall under?
Probably the third one.
Okay. Are you paying too much for yours?
Yeah.
I gotcha. Well, the good news is that I can pull up every single carrier in the country to make sure that what you have is the best fit. As long as it is, we'll be good to go.
Perfect. That sounds good.
And then we just ask them about their policy and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Awesome.